Yo! What is up, guys? Nick Nakai here. Let's Drift Media. Thank you guys for coming back to the channel. If it's your first time here, please drop a comment and, like always, hit that subscribe button. So on today's episode, we are going to be installing / doing kind of a video review on the Miller Cat Corp catalytic converter shield. So I just want to give a huge shout out to Miller Cat for sending me this cat shield so I could test it out on the Prius and let you guys know if it's something that's worth buying. So real quick, some people might be wondering what exactly is a catalytic converter shield. Well, basically it's exactly what I just said. It's a shield to protect your catalytic converter that bolts up to the bottom of your car to prevent thieves from being able to just jack up your car really quick and sawzawing your catalytic converter off and taking it to the scrapyard or whatever and making a couple $100 because not sure if you guys see this too often or I've ever had this happen to you, but working at the Toyota dealership, I would say at least once a month I get a Prius come in or any kind of vehicle. Somebody gets one of these cars where somebody cut off their catalytic converter and the customer complains. They go to start up the car and it sounds like a race car, basically because it's like straight pipe straight off the headers, all the exhaust gas just coming straight out. And so yeah, that's kind of a big problem, and it's really cool that people are actually making these shields to prevent that, because yes, you can install this, and obviously if someone really wants to, they can probably just cut their way through this, but I feel like for most majority times, if a thief is going to steal something from your car, they just want to get in, get out, and get on their way. They don't want to spend like 20-30 minutes in your driveway trying to steal your cat from your car, because obviously it's going to cause a scene and be making a lot more noise versus just jacking up your car, cutting two pipes, and being on with their way. So hopefully, if anyone's in the market or curious about these cat shields, you can learn from this video. So let's get started and I'll show you guys what the kit comes with. So here we have pretty much the kit over here on the right side. Over here I'll go over the tools that we're supposed to be needing for this job. But starting off over here, they sent me both hardware packets. This is the original tamper-proof screw, which kind of looks like a 5-point Torx bit. And then they also sent me their custom 2nd-gen tamper-proof screw, which really looks kind of like an offset gear. So basically you can't get this lock key anywhere else to remove these bolts, so I thought that's kind of cool. So yeah, basically in here is the exact same stuff that's laid out right here, but I'm just going to show you the second kit, which I'm going to be using. So yeah, we got the custom screws, we got some lock washers, spacers, some riveted nuts. So we'll be installing these onto the vehicle to bolt the shield down. You get 2 stickers. Also, you get a little pamphlet, kind of like a product pamphlet. Shows you the different models of Priuses that they can make the cat shield for. They did message me telling me that they have a Tacoma and a Tundra cat shield. I'm not too sure if that's out yet or if it's about to be released, but that's pretty cool that they're expanding, not just for Priuses, although Priuses are probably one of the top targeted vehicles to get the cat stolen. So we got that. We got the 2 stickers. We got some sound dampening foam. I believe this is supposed to come up on the top, around the sides, to kind of prevent noise, vibration, any kind of rattle, stuff like that, just to be safe. We have our instruction manual right here, and we have our CNC aluminum cat shield. So pretty straightforward. According to the directions, we're supposed to bend some of these tabs and bend these 2 bottom ones. I'll have to figure out exactly which way they go before we get started. You can see over here they have the tools you need. Really not much, so definitely doable at home, which is what I'm gonna do. Originally I was planning on doing it at work, but I decided, you know what, I got the garage all kind of set up, all banging, let's just do it here at home. Alright, so tools you're gonna need is a drill with the 25/64 drill bit, or a step drill bit if you want to be risky. So I just got the drill bit here. We're going to need a 10mm socket. You don't need the impact gun. It's really just one 10mm bolt that we're going to have to remove, which is on the oxygen sensor, and you'll see that in a little bit. Rivet nut tool. I didn't have one of these with an M6 bit, So I just picked up this whole little tool itself with all the bits for like 30 bucks on Amazon. Figured I'll probably use it one day later on anyways. Flathead pliers, how you could bend these tabs up, and marker, and they recommend a center punch, but I do not have that here, so we're just gonna go with this and hope for the best. So like I said, really not that many tools. So I'll give you a quick little basic rundown what we're gonna be doing. Jacking up the car all the way, removing the heat shield located right by the catalytic converter, which mine does not have, so we don't have to worry about that. There's gonna be 4 pre-existing holes. We're gonna make those holes a little bit bigger so we can fit the rivet nuts in there, as well as drill 2 more holes in the back, expand those, and then we should be ready to go. Put the rivet nuts in, expand the rivets, mock up the cat shield, and pretty much tighten it with the secured bits they gave us. So one thing too is don't lose this, because the only way you could get it is through the company. So just wanted to point that out. Another thing they mentioned to me was all the hardware is zinc coated, which is supposed to help from corrosion from the aluminum mounting to your vehicle's frame itself. So I thought that's kind of cool, went a little bit of the extra mile. As well as they told me that they are partnered up with Toyota, so what I'm guessing that means if you go to a Toyota dealership, you could actually ask for one of these Miller Cat Corp cat shields and have them installed right there at the dealership. So I thought that was pretty cool, and yeah. So I'll go ahead and jack up the car. I'm gonna try and just lift up this side super high, that way I could get a good camera angle for you guys under there. So let's get started. All right, so we got the car all jacked up on one side. I think we should be good, just this one side. And I actually do have the heat shield. I could have sworn it did not have one. But anyways, you guys can see here is the catalytic converter. So not that hard, just jack up the car to steal one of these bad boys. And we see it a lot. So the one thing too that a lot of people don't take into considerations is on these Priuses, there's actually coolant lines running to your catalytic converter, and these lines share the same coolant as your engine coolant. So I actually had one customer brought his car in, he said his cat got stolen, and he was like 60 miles away from work, so he just said it's fine, it's just loud, and drove the car, pretty much overheated it, because when they took the cat, they just chopped these coolant lines and drained out all his engine coolant, and this guy ended up needing a lot of work. I don't remember if it was a full engine or short block or if we just did the head gasket, but really sucked. Could have been avoided if he just towed it in, but a lot of people don't know that there's coolant running to your catalytic converter on the Priuses, so it's one thing, little fun fact. So what I'm gonna do now, there's gonna be a couple clips right here you can just pop out with the flathead screwdriver, and we're gonna just get rid of this heat shield completely, and we're not gonna be using that anymore. All right, so you can see those 4 holes which had those clips in. We're gonna be expanding those drills with the drill bit. This is a 10mm I was talking about that holds the oxygen sensor bracket on. We're just gonna take that off to get it out of the way. And this one over here. This last one is the one that you're supposed to be very careful, because this is a fuel line right here. Right above it, you want to be very careful that once you go through drilling, you stop. You don't want to drill into the fuel line and have a whole bunch of other problems. And then after we get those on, I'm going to go ahead and insert the rivets in each one, expand the rivets, and then we're going to mock up the cat shield so we can figure out where to drill our last 2 holes. And that's pretty much it. So I'll just set up a time lapse of me doing all that up until I get to the last holes, and I'll pick back up right there, guys. All right, so you can see we got 1, 2, 3, 4 rivet nuts in. pretty easy, not too bad, but yeah, definitely be careful when you're going for this last one. On these first three, luckily I learned that as soon as I drilled through, it just sucked the drill bit straight up. So I was like, I really hope I don't do that to this one and puncture my fuel line. But just took my time, went in really slow, and then we're good. And then you saw the rivets, not too much to that, just thread the tool through the rivet nut, put it in there, squeeze it one time, pull it all out, make sure they're nice and snug. Now we can go back to our cat shield. Alright, so next step I'm going to do is go ahead and install these rubber piece trims around the edges, like it shows in the picture right here. And then I'm going to bend the tabs. Hopefully I do it correctly. Alright, so this is what it's basically going to mount up to the car. So we're going to bend these two tabs at the back 90 degrees. Have them go straight up. These three, it's looking like we're doing a 45-degree bend downwards. It's supposed to help with airflow, create some kind of vacuum effect to keep cooling your cat. So here's a picture. Again, they have all this information online, and they even have their own DIY video if you want to see their video. But just doing a Nick Nakai style, so I'm going to bend these tabs, put that cushion on there, or a little foam dampener, and then we'll get to mocking it up so we can see which location to drill the two rear holes, and then we can install 2 more rivets there and pretty much bolt it to it. So let's go. Alright, so we got the vent tabs bent up and the back tabs bent up. Oh, that is not a 90. Yeah, it is 90 degree. I don't know. It'll bolt up anyways. Try and bend it out a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is mock it up, thread in the screws by hand, just get them started a little bit, and then we can mark our second holes in the back and call it from there. So let's get to installing this thing. Alright, so that's basically like a short little mock-up of it. Looks pretty good. So next what I'm going to do, pretty much mark this spot right here where this hole is, and that hole is. Drill through again, reinsert the new rivets, and then we're going to put a washer or this big spacer in between so it'll just sit up here flush. And that's pretty much it. So I'm going to drill these holes, going to have to take all these screws back out, which is kind of going to be a pain because I'm doing it by hand. But yeah, almost done, guys. Alright, so now we got the last 2 rivets installed, one over here, one over there. All these little gold pieces. So now we can pretty much bolt the cat shield up. Just before that, don't forget to reattach your 10mm O2 bracket. As well as once we put this cat shield up, we're gonna have to put these washers on the back too, because there's a little bit of a gap. That's why they give us these fat spacers. That way it's bolted securely against the frame rail and you have no vibration. So pretty much done. Wasn't too bad. I mean, a little bit more difficult, mainly using the rivet gun and drilling out holes on the floor. Would be much easier on a lift, but here we are. So let's just get finished and mock this thing up and tighten these bolts and go from there. Alright guys, sorry about that. My camera died while I was putting the screws in by hand. But we pretty much got it on. When going on, I'm not sure if I mentioned, but it's the big washer, then the lock nut, then the screw. That way it sits all nice and flush. Go ahead and hand tighten them. You just want to snug them. They really don't need to be super tight because since we have this custom key, it's really the only way you can use a driver to get it off. I mean, unless you kind of had some kind of weird tool that would go in there. But one thing I will say is if you are a consumer, please keep this in your glove box or in a Ziploc bag, label it. For us technicians at the dealer, just like wheel locks, it really sucks when someone brings a car in, they have some weird stuff on, or they have some wheel locks, aftermarket wheels, and we don't know where the damn wheel lock key is. Stuff like this is really annoying to us technicians, so please, for us, put it somewhere safe and secure and easy to find. Or not easy to find, I guess, but at least when you take your car in for service, let them know. But besides that, it is on. Our cat is now a little bit more safe and pretty good. No rattles. The foam seems like it's doing its job. We'll see after a couple good test drives, but I haven't heard anyone complaining about these yet, and it looks really sleek, honestly. And another plus is it'll add resale value to this vehicle if I ever do decide to sell it. So that pretty much sums up the install, guys. So that's pretty much it for installing the Miller Cat catalytic converter shield on a 2013 Prius. Other Prius models should be very similar, if not the same. The only ones that probably would be a little bit different are the Tundras and the Tacomas once they release those models, but highly recommend. It's nice to just have like an extra piece of security. Yeah, if a thief wants to steal it, they're gonna steal it, but just to have that little bit of extra security seems like a good deal to me. So I'll leave all the links to the products in the description below. Don't forget to leave a comment if you have any questions when it comes to installing these, things about this product or anything like that. I always try and get back to all you guys as much as I can. Sorry if I did not get back to you yet. But overall, not that bad of an install. I'd say it probably took me like about 2 hours, but that was also trying to set up the camera, film, and working on the floor compared to working at work with the lift. But it's all good. We're done now. So that's it, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll catch you guys later. Peace!
Hey, Bill, I'm in the mood for a switch up. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a stick up. She picture perfect, so I told him I'm a flick up.